Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
And welcome in a very happy Tuesday to you now, March the 25th, 2025. It is Game Time Decisions here on this SportsGrid network. I'm Joe Raineri. Certainly appreciate you stopping by as we have some breaking news quickly here in the NBA as it just popped up on the screen in front of me. It is a big revenge night in the association tonight as Jimmy Butler on his way back to face his former team, the Miami Heat. And there were some questions on whether or not Steph Curry would be going in this game here tonight. He did practice earlier today with the Golden State Warriors, did make the trip, but he has now been ruled out. And now we are seeing that line going from -6 to -3. So nearly cut in half now with the ruling that Steph Curry out, Golden State in Miami. Still a favorite, though. In Miami, there is supposed to be some sort of video tribute here for Jimmy Butler tonight, which he's kind of played off as he doesn't really care. I'm pretty sure the Miami Heat and their fans are going to care here tonight. So if he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it, Golden State, without Steph Curry here tonight. He has been ruled out with that back injury here. So, and this is a pretty important game for both Golden State and the Miami Heat, as both are still trying to vie for positioning in the postseason. So right off the bat, we've got some Game Time Decisions information for you to utilize as that line continues to drop on news of Steph Curry not playing tonight. Loaded slate otherwise in the NBA here tonight as well, as you have the Orlando Magic, the red-hot Orlando Magic, heading to Charlotte, second night of a back-to-back. But could it be that the Orlando Magic have finally figured out the offense and figured out how to be able to score points on a consistent basis? They've looked pretty darn good here as of late, and watching Paolo Banchero play, pretty impressive stuff. Franz Wagner, both of these guys dropping 30 points apiece. The Lakers last night got embarrassed by the Orlando Magic. So much for Luka and LeBron on the court at the same time, because Paolo and Franz on the court outdueled them and beat the snot out of them. And suddenly the Lakers were all scratching our head and going, I thought this was going to be the number 2 seed in the West. And now the Lakers can't seem to figure it out. They can't stop anybody offensively, including what was one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA this year in the Orlando Magic last night. But yet the Orlando Magic trying to make it not 1, not 2, but now 3 in a row. Second night of a back-to-back, but they are taking on, after all, the Charlotte Hornets. Dallas in New York with pretty much nobody playing tonight for Dallas as New York opened up as a 7.5 point favorite. That has been steamed up to over 10 now. We're seeing 10.5. We're also starting to see the over money come in here. 225s pretty much starting to roll in as we have a pretty better idea on who's playing and who's not playing for Dallas. Dallas going to go with that small ball lineup. Tempo will be there. Possessions will be there. And I'm sure the Knicks, who are a little rested here, are ready to go. While Dallas, it was good to get AD back last night. Dallas in a winning effort, but now a second of a back-to-back. Did you really think you were going to get Anthony Davis 2 games in a row? Stop. We all know better than that. Knicks as a double-digit favorite. I can't think of anything scarier tonight than that. Also, you're going to have Atlanta taking on Houston, the suddenly red-hot Atlanta Hawks, who are battling and are very much relevant in the playoff hunt here as a possible play-in team, as they've won 7 of their last 9. The offense is clicking on all cylinders. They're averaging about 120 to 124 points a game here over this streak. They are playing some really good basketball in Houston, one of the worst home court favorites that we have seen in a long time. They don't cover a lot of games at home in Houston, and the market very hesitant to back them as this opened up at 8.5, and we're starting to see 7.5 now. So certainly I think the market sees that Atlanta's not a pushover by any stretch and playing its best basketball here after having pretty much the entire team get stripped down from where it started to where it is right now. But these guys are playing some great basketball. Keep an eye on the Atlanta Hawks. Very bettable team right now, especially getting that many points as the this Houston team, the Rockets, sit in that number 2 spot in the Western Conference, courtesy of that 9-game winning streak. They did just lose to Denver at home last game, but make no mistake, they rattled off 9 straight wins and put themselves in a pretty good spot as we sit right around the 10 games left in the regular season mark in the association for teams to make that push. We saw Phoenix get it done last night against Milwaukee Bucks. Phoenix trying to battle their way into one of those final play-in spots. So a lot going on here tonight in the NBA. Not all the games are created equal because San Antonio is still playing basketball. They're taking on Detroit. And let's not forget Oklahoma City, who probably won't play anybody, is taking on the Sacramento Kings, who are on the second of a back-to-back. That, too, is almost a double-digit line here. 9.5 is what we're seeing for OKC. Now, we still have college basketball, not the Sweet 16. That won't kick off until Thursday. But we do have 2 NIT games and 2 CBI games coming up here. Top of the hour, in fact, 7 o'clock, we'll get 1 CBI, 1 NIT game. Chattanooga at Bradley will be you'll be one half, along with North Texas at Oklahoma State. Those are your 2 NIT games, with Bradley and Oklahoma State hosting those games as the home teams are still hosting games in the NIT to this point. Oklahoma State in Stillwater this year, 12-3. And when you look at strength of schedule for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, they played in the Big 12, folks. North Texas didn't. That should tell you everything you need to know about strength of schedule. They've lost 3 games in Stillwater. One of them was to Houston. One of them was to Iowa State. You're getting my drift here? That is nowhere even remotely close to anything that North Texas has played here. So this is going to be a very interesting game tonight. NIT overs 12-6 right now. It has been absolute money to be backing overs in these extra college basketball tournaments, including the CBI, which will have Illinois State taking on Incarnate Word, along with Florida Gulf Coast taking on Cleveland State. And both of those games, and both of those teams, rather, have been flying over the totals in these CBI games at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. That is neutral site games. We'll have much more on these coming up here, but they will tip off in the top of the hour. So we still got a little college basketball. We got NBA. We got plenty of NHL. 11 games on tap on the ice coming up. We'll talk to our good friend George Kurtz. He can tell us how his New York Islanders should just sell the team and fold up shop. It's going to be a lot of fun, I promise you. Come back and join us here as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by as we get ready here for a loaded slate tonight. Certainly in the NHL, where you know how it works. You get 2 games one night, you get 11 the next, and we happen to be in the 11-game phase right now on this Tuesday. So we're going to talk and preview a little bit of hockey here with our good friend, Mr. George Kurtz, who no doubt is also getting ready for opening day in Major League Baseball, just 48 hours away from that as well. Kurtz there Thursday. Baseball is back, which again, the schedulers of MLB Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason for you to start the season, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week when literally there is no Sweet 16 or March Madness. But hey, what do I know? You keep scheduling one hockey game one night and 12 the next. So it's the scheduling has been a little bit interesting to say the least with some of these teams and some of these leagues here. But let's start with the Sabres tonight taking on the Ottawa Senators. I don't know anybody on Buffalo here. I don't know. Yet they've won both meetings, I believe, this year against Ottawa. Everybody I've talked to is on Ottawa here tonight. I can't imagine sweating out an under, but does Buffalo have a shot at home here?
They've definitely got a shot at home. Buffalo's not a bad – I mean, they are a bad team, but they're not a bad team. They can beat anybody on any given night here. I mean, I don't feel comfortable taking Ottawa at minus 170, so I'm not betting that. My favorite bet is sort of what you just said there. The joke at the end, you don't want to sweat out an under. Neither do I. Give me the over, and you're getting even money on it. Both these teams can score goals, man. Thompson, Tuck, Paterka, these guys can score goals here. We know Ottawa can light the lamp here. I think odds are the Senators do win the game. I still don't feel comfortable, but I think we're going to get 7+ goals in this game. This game reeks of 5-3, 6-4, a game like that.
We have interesting one in Toronto, right? The Maple Leafs coming back home after, I don't know how they lost to Nashville 5-2, but they did. These teams have faced, I believe, each other twice already. Both games, Toronto won 3-2, but the Flyers have lost 10 of their last 12. They're scoring 2 or fewer goals now in 4 straight, 8 of their last 10. It's not good in Philly, but never like the Maple Leafs at this price either. So what are you thinking?
No, you can't lay 265 with the Maple Leafs here. But this is your parlay special, right? I mean, if you want to go with the early games here, you could take the Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're playing the Pittsburgh Penguins here. You could think about taking them with Carolina, though I don't really trust that here. If you want to wait till later on tonight, you want to go early game and a late game, you can take Toronto and the Colorado Avalanche. So I think there's lots of opportunities here. And I know both games were at 3-2. But you're going to give me 5.5. I mean, it's not a high price here at minus 114. I'm going to have to take the over there as well.
Yeah, interesting to say the least here with that. And the 5.5 is an also interesting line. Toronto's been actually pretty profitable at home to the under here. A little bit later, Ovechkin continuing to chase Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record. Winnipeg, I believe, tonight. What does he get? He's got 56 goals in 74 career games against Winnipeg. Everybody's betting him to have, guess what? A goal tonight here. Are you buying it here with the Capitals?
I'm not betting an AO to score tonight. I mean, you're talking Hellebuck. He's going to win the Vezina Trophy again this season. Winnipeg's a really good defense. I mean, I wouldn't call them a lockdown defense. As a power play goes, what Ovechkin does, he can get a one-time run at any time here. But I'm not going to bet on him to score tonight, no. That being said, Winnipeg, they suffered a tricky loss over the weekend in Velarde. He's hurt, so he's not going to be. He's out a couple of weeks here. That's a tricky loss on that top line here. You're going to give me plus money with the Capitals? This is the best team in the East versus the best team in the West here. And Winnipeg's been a little wonky of late. I don't feel great about it, okay? But plus money at Capitals, give me a small little bet.
Yeah, he's actually plus money, I believe. Anytime goal, plus 135, plus 140 when I saw it. I know a lot of guys continue to bet his shots on goal props because, let's face it, Washington is doing everything in their power to give him as many opportunities hurts to score goals as best he can here because you just never know. And it's not a bad way to go here as we round out the regular season. Just keep betting his shots on goal. He's going to get them. Make no mistake about it. He's going to have every opportunity to be able to break this record.
I mean, they put him out there. If the other team pulls the goalie with 4 minutes left, AO's playing the entire 4 minutes, right? They wanted to get this goal. And they wanted to get the record as soon as possible, Joe, because they want him to rest some up before the playoffs start.
Yep. Yeah, which unfortunately doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon here. We have a lot of these 270, 280 favorites here. Carolina's one of them, taking on Nashville, although they showed up in a big way against Toronto there, but on the road against Carolina, another very strange team. 5.5 I'm seeing as the total here. Another team I'm not exactly comfortable using as a big parlay piece at that price either, though. What are you thinking?
No, I'm staying away from this game. If anything, I would bet Nashville and take the 2-1 right there, plus 215. Take a shot that Soros plays well tonight. Kochetkov is playing for Carolina. No Svechnikov, he's still out for Carolina. They say he's going to return on Friday. This will be his 7th straight game that he's missed there. Like I said, I have not touched this game in any way here, though I do lean towards the under. But if I was to bet it, it would be on Nashville. Take the plus money.
Yeah, take the plus money with Nashville. Probably not a bad look here at this point. What about Pittsburgh taking on Tampa? Now nearly a $3 favorite, the Tampa Bay Lightning at home. Taking Pittsburgh's just time for a power washing there in Pittsburgh. What are you thinking here, Kurtz?
Been time for a power washing for a little bit, Joe, right? Really thought when Duke was the GM was brought in before last season, I thought that's what his job was there, that he was going to be brought in to get rid of, maybe not Crosby, to move on from Malkin, to move on from Letang, but instead they doubled down and they added Carlson, right? And that really hasn't worked out well. Like I said, this is the second half of that parlay if you want to go with Toronto. All right, the Tampa Bay, the early parlay. I prefer Colorado later, a little bit more, or maybe a 3-way parlay if you want to go all 3. I think Tampa Bay beats Pittsburgh, but I'm not laying 3-1, minus 295. And I don't feel great about Pittsburgh, 235 either here. But this is just second half of your parlay. Kucherov anytime goal is a nice little bet in this game too, along with Brandon Hagel.
Oh, I don't hate that at all there. Most games, it's funny, half of this card here, Kurtz, tonight looks like it's unbelievable. We got a ton of $3, $2.80 favorites. It's a rough card here. We appreciate it as always, though, George. We got more Game Time Decisions coming your way here on the grid.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Wall.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. A very happy Tuesday to you. Calm before the storm. We got Sweet 16 action coming up Thursday and Friday this week as March Madness rolls on. Plenty of NBA as they're rounding out the regular season. Plenty of NHL as they, too, rounding out the end of the regular season. The postseason just around the corner. Now would be a good time to check in with our friends Joe Madden and Tom Vecchio to see what they have on tap tonight with their Sports Millions Pick'em. What do you guys got rolling tonight?
Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's time to jump into some Sports Millions Pick'ems. Now, Tom, you held down the fort yesterday, so thank you. How did things go with your Sports Millions Pick'ems?
Went 1-1 yesterday. Halliburton doing his normal thing, picking up assists as he always does. Rudy Gobert had him lower than 21.5 rebounds plus points. And yesterday, for some reason, he decided to score a ton of points, actually completely out of the norm for him. So a little bit disappointed about that. But today, we turn to the NHL. Let's jump right in. Two of my favorite players to look to when it comes to props. And let's start with Nathan MacKinnon, higher than 3.5 shots on goal. He's had at least 3 shots in 7 out of his last 10 games. He is a shot machine. He has the second most total shots in the entire league. He's often pushing to 5, 6, 7 shots on a nightly basis. Going up against the Red Wings, they're on the second night of a back-to-back. They were in Utah last night. Going into altitude at Denver is never an easy thing. Since the beginning of March, the Red Wings, they're on 60.5 top 5 total shot attempts against per 60 minutes in 5-5 situations. That's the 6th worst in the league. This is a great matchup for McKinnon just to do his normal thing and pile up the shots. We're not looking to another player in this game. We're actually going to flip to another game with the Lightning and Jake Gensel higher than 2.5 shots on goal. Combine these, we get the 3x multiplier. Number one, I love the fact that he's going up against his former team in the Pittsburgh Penguins. He only had 1 shot in his last game, but prior to that, he had at least 5 shots in 4 straight games. And also, since the beginning of March, we looked to the Penguins, not good on defense. They're only the 3rd most total shot attempts per 60 minutes in 5-5 situations. I think the Lightning bounce back and get a win today after a 2-game losing streak. And we see Gensel do his thing and pile up the shots. So McKinnon, Gensel, combine them, 3x multiplier. Joe, what do you have?
Tom, I love that storyline bet there on Jake Gensel. I do think he comes out nice and strong. I'm going to turn to the matchup here between the Washington Capitals and the Winnipeg Jets. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. We know the Washington Capitals rolling in first in the Metro. Ovechkin is just being so hot. And the Winnipeg Jets actually off a surprising loss to the Buffalo Sabres, losing that one 5-3 on Sunday. Still sitting first in the Central, but Connor Hellebuyck really needing to step up. We've seen Connor Hellebuyck over the last couple of games just allowing those goals to come piling in. And I do think Washington's going to get those shots on him. So the first player I'm going to look at here is looking at John Carlson. I think John Carlson will pile up those shots on goal, and he has a number that just looks too low to me. I will take John Carlson here of the Washington Capitals, higher than 1.5 shots on goal. The last meeting versus the Jets, they played February 1st, and he was only able to get that 1 shot on goal. But when we look at him and we look at how strong he has been over his last couple of games, he had 2 shots versus Florida, 2 versus the Philadelphia Flyers, 3 shots on goal versus Detroit. And we've seen some games where he's been able to rack up 4 or 5 shots on goal. I look at this one tonight, and I do think even though the Winnipeg Jets are strong on defense, they're still allowing 27.3 shots on goal per game. And Carlson really being impactful out there for the Capitals should get those shots today. So the first player, John Carlson, higher than 1.5 shots on goal. And then I'll turn to the Winnipeg Jets here. And I do like Mark Scheifele's ability to go higher than a half assist. Now, with injuries here to Velarde, we have seen line shifting over here for the Winnipeg Jets. And because of this, we will see Mark Scheifele centering that center line with Kyle Connor and Alex Iafallo. So I do think we're going to see him impactful here. Kyle Connor hasn't been getting those goals as of late, but I expect Mark Scheifele to be able to assist him in one tonight. The last time versus the Capitals, he did have success. He had 1 assist he had 2 assists in that one, and we looked at the last couple. He's been able to rack up those assists as well. So look for Mark Scheifele to come out nice and strong here for the Winnipeg Jets as they're playing at home. Look for John Carlson to be able to get those shots. So John Carlson higher than 1.5 shots on goal. Mark Scheifele higher than a half an assist, coming in for a 3-time multiplier, Tom.
We'll be back to the NBA tomorrow and then back to college to close out the week.
It's going to be a great week. So guys, make sure you stick around here on SportsGrid for all your Sports Millions pick'ems.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. A very happy Tuesday to you now, the 25th of March, as more of the injury landscape starting to pop in the NBA. We're learning now that Cade Cunningham out tonight for the Detroit Pistons. They're taking on the San Antonio Spurs. And if you're just joining us, we told you no Steph Curry tonight in the return of Jimmy Butler to Miami as the Heat get ready to face the Golden State Warriors. However, 11 games in the NHL. It's a good night here for hockey as we're looking to round out the regular season. And of course, with that comes a whole lot of very big favorites, as some teams with something to play for still and others absolutely nothing to play for. But to help us navigate through all of this, we welcome in Joe Madden here. And Joe, I'm looking quickly at the board here. It's like, oh, $3 favorite, $3 favorite. Oh, look at that, $2.90 favorite. It's that time of year, right? Where unfortunately we're going to have some teams with something to play for, and a lot of teams right now are just trying to hurry up, finish the regular season, and move on. And I think the odds are really starting to reflect that in a lot of these spots here.
Oh, they absolutely are. So it's going to be so important over the next couple of weeks that we find some value in betting them, because we know any given night a big favorite can fall as well. Puck luck can come for that underdog. And if you're betting a minus $300, minus $200 favorite and you lose one, it's really going to hurt that bankroll. So be cautious in these next couple of weeks. Look for that plus money and look for some players that are looking to hit numbers for their goals or their assists as well, Joe.
Yes, we'll get to Ovechkin in a minute here, Joe. But let's open up with a more realistic line here with Ottawa and Buffalo getting ready to do battle here top of the hour. The Sabres won both these meetings earlier this season, and not just won them. I think they outscored them 9-1 in both games here. So Ottawa's had they haven't figured it out yet. Buffalo has had their way with them. Is tonight the night that it flips where Ottawa gets one? But either way, are we getting goals in this one?
Yeah, I think we really are. We look at the goaltending matchup here. It's not going to be Allmark in for the Ottawa Senators. They are going to Forsberg. And when we look at Buffalo, James Reimer will be in net. Now, he had a solid performance versus the Winnipeg Jets. Still can't believe Buffalo was able to pull off that win. They're going to be rolling with momentum in that one. He allowed 3 goals on 36 shots. So those are good numbers. But we look at the Ottawa Senators, so much to play for here. Buffalo really does step up playing them though, because this is a battle of the Atlantic. They want nothing more than to spoil the hopes here of the Ottawa Senators and leave them with no points on the night. But I think the Sens come out nice and strong, and we have to look at Dylan Cousins returning to Buffalo tonight because he was drafted by this team, just traded earlier this month, and I think he comes in with a huge night here for the Ottawa Senators. When we look at him, since he joined this team, 8 games, he's been able to put up 3 goals and 4 assists. I'm looking for him to be impactful tonight. If you take him for 2+ points, it's coming in at plus 520. If you take him for the any goal, it's coming in at plus 240. And I do think the Sens get the win. Now, I don't think it's going to be easy for them to get this win, but I do foresee them covering that puck line because of an empty netter. I really do believe that now with Forsberg in that, we've got that 4-3 situation where Buffalo is pushing to get this one to overtime. But I do think it will be the Senators who get that empty netter, resulting in a 5-3 style game. So if you just want to look at the over, if you want to look at both teams to score in the first period, that's coming in at plus 158. And if you look for that goal in the first 5 minutes, Joe, like we were talking before we went on air, you're going to get plus 152 on that. So I'm looking for the goals right away, but I do think the Sens cover that puck line. Tage Thompson, though, here for Buffalo would be the one you want to look at here for his anytime goal.
Yeah, I bought third game in 4 days for Buffalo in this one too. So they've been some busy bees here. And I was talking to George Kurtz earlier, Joe. I had no idea how Toronto lost to Nashville in that last game. That was unfortunate. But they do get to go home. They get to welcome in the Flyers, who can't win any more games. They can't score any goals. They are just a hot mess. But ironically enough, they have played Toronto pretty hard here. I mean, Toronto's won both games against them, but only 3-2. Toronto's been much better to the under this year in the full game at home. Do we like them here to bounce back in this spot? And if so, how much help is Philadelphia going to get us to get this thing over?
I just can't see the Flyers giving us that much help, Joe. This is going to be a hard matchup for them. Like you said, this team has been an absolute mess. They've lost their last 5 games, and this is their last game out there on the road. I struggle to really see them scoring on Toronto. Toronto's in a really weird scheduling spot, though. So something definitely to note if you really like to take into the weight with that scheduling. This is a one-off home game. They were out on the road for 2 games, and they head back out on the road facing 3 teams with a weekend back-to-back with the Kings and the Ducks. So interesting spot here. But one thing I look at the Philadelphia Flyers, they're allowing these goals. So instead of looking at Toronto, because they're such a big favorite, they're almost a $3 favorite, I can't look at them on that puck line because the Flyers, they're looking to break this streak. But I also look at Toronto home off that game back out on the road. I think they'll get the goals, if anything. Give me the over 3.5 goals here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's coming in at minus 108. I think Austin Matthews is able to get a couple of points in this game. If you want to take him for 2+ points, that's coming in at plus 164. Not as much value as I would like, but you look at the Flyers, and one thing they've been doing, they've been struggling to stop their opponents. They've only been averaging 1.69 goals per game in their last 10 while giving up 3.9. And when we look here at Toronto, what Toronto's been able to do out on the ice, they can get these goals on the board. So I'm having faith in them to go over their team total. And I do think Tavares has been strong. He's actually been able to get that first goal in 3 of the last 6 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you want to take a chance on him for the first goal again tonight, it's plus 1,200. Just the anytime goal, though, is plus 185. So definitely someone to watch in this game tonight.
Maybe Austin Matthews might not be a bad look either. I know he's had some really good games against these Flyers here, and always dangerous at home as they look to bounce back in this one here. I don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh, my goodness, just absolutely disappointing to say the least. But they got to take on a Tampa team, well, I believe now, right? Back-to-back losses here, but they do go home tonight. Is this another upset? Can they bounce back? What are we going to do with Pittsburgh here?
I look at Pittsburgh here, and I think there has to be some sort of play on them. They've come out really strong in the first period. They've actually won their last 6 first periods, Joe. So I'm looking at a way to back them. I really like what we saw out of them in that game versus your Florida Panthers. I know they took the loss, but they pushed your team all the way to that shootout on Sunday, losing that one 4-3. I'm looking for them to get off to a hot start. Now, we have a little bit of a storyline here for Tampa with Jake Gunsel facing his former team in the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I do think he comes out strong. And Sidney Crosby answers back for the Penguins, but I'm looking at the Penguins and I'm looking at the first period, and I'm separating a bet into a third on each of these bets. And this is based on a hot start here for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then I don't care what happens after that. So I'm going to take the puck line plus a half a goal at -138. For the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first period, the money line at +180 in the first period, as well as them to just score a goal in the first period. It's coming in at -122, so that's over a half a goal. And I think it's a great way to go, especially with the success. We know all season, this team, Joe's been able to get up. They've been strong in that first period, and it falls apart in the second and third. And it could happen again here tonight. So if they go up by 2 goals, you could look at Tampa then to come back and get the win.
Well, we got a couple of other games, Joe, I want to go over that actually aren't a ridiculous favorite involved. But boy, oh boy, the red hot St. Louis Blues, they're taking on Montreal here tonight. I can't wait to hear what you got to say, because the market clearly likes one team here. We'll see what you think when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri, joined again by Joe Madden as we are taking a look at an 11-game slate in the NHL here tonight. And Joe, you and I were just talking the red-hot St. Louis Blues and what a difference a half makes. After the Four Nations break, this team has been literally unbeatable. They have played themselves from not even laughable making the postseason to now making it, and we can still get a pretty good price on them to make the playoffs at this point. But quite honestly, I mean, this is a franchise we were laughing that, a few years ago, we're dead last in every statistical category. About 2 months into the season, they turned it around and ran the tables, win the cup. It feels a lot reminiscent of that. But at the very least, they got the Canadians here tonight who have lost, 3 of their last 5. It feels like the Blues are a solid bet, but it also feels like they're a solid bet to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they absolutely are. You look at this team to make the playoffs coming in at minus 102 right now. They're holding that last wild card spot currently in the Western Conference. Now, they have played 72 games and they have 81 points, where we see the Minnesota Wild 71 games, so 1 game in hand over them, and 85 for that first wild card. But there's a couple of teams chasing the St. Louis Blues, the Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames mainly so, and then the Utah Hockey Club. So we're going to have to see St. Louis play their hearts out. If things ended today, they would be in the playoffs, but I think it's a good bet at minus 102. Even though my heart would love to see Calgary get in, St. Louis, I think, is such a balanced team. You look at Jordan Binnington in goal, you look at this defense, and you look at this offense. This is an offense in the last 4 games. They've been able to score 4 goals in each of those last 4. In the couple games before that, 5 and 7 in both of those. So this is a team that is so complete out there. Their defense is really on point. And then Jordan Binnington in net, if he can play like we've seen him in a lot of these games, I do think they have high hopes to make the playoffs and then make a run once they get there. So tonight's matchup versus the Montreal Canadiens, I'm just going to play their team total over 3.5 goals. Montreal has caught fire offensively as of late as well. They've scored 4 or more goals in 7 of their last 10 games. And if Jordan Binnington's hot, I don't want to go against him. So looking at the full game total, well, it's not a bad look. He could come out and he could play such a strong game that Montreal struggles in this one. So the Blues team total over 3.5 gets you at plus 124. And then you look at Kyrou, you look at Robert Thomas and Jake Neighbors for them to come out nice and strong, as well as Holloway. So many playmakers on this team, Joe.
There are a ton of playmakers on this team and playing their best hockey right now. So kind of like that bet. I'm going to make that bet right now at even money for them to make the playoffs and get a push here. I don't know what to do with Minnesota, who got blanked again last night at Dallas. Now they've got Vegas they've got to worry about here. And I don't know. How many goals are we getting in this game here, Joe? The Minnesota Wild are so confusing to me. Even at home, they're a better road team than they are a home team, which is mind-blowing to me with the Wild here. What do you do with them on the second of a back-to-back?
Yeah, it's really hard here with them getting shut out last night for you to look at this game. And because last night they were on the road as well in Dallas, taking on the Dallas Stars. They've had to travel back home. We've got a Vegas team that didn't play last night. They played on Sunday. They got a nice win over the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I'm looking for this matchup. It's really interesting. When the Wild can score 3 or more goals, they can get those wins in 3 or more goal games. They've gone 35-3-2. So will they score on Adin Hill? I just don't see them being able to do so. Even though Vegas is out here on the road, I'm just going to take this one straight to the under 5.5 goals. I do think with that goaltending battle between Adin Hill and Marc-Andre Fleury, and while Fleury can let in some more goals than Gustafsson, we're also seeing Thomas Hertl not in the lineup tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights, out with a shoulder injury. So I think lower scoring game here, a lot of defense being played in this one, Joe.
Yeah, a ton of, I think an under is a good look there. We do have some breaking news here that we want to go ahead and share with you, not in the NHL, but rather the NFL, as they are getting ready, of course, for the draft, the upcoming draft. But ESPN, Adam Schefter reporting that the Giants and Russell Wilson have reached an agreement today on a 1-year deal worth up to $21 million, including a $10.5 million guaranteed here. Boy, that is going to be interesting, isn't it, here? As we know, the rumors with Aaron Rodgers and Pittsburgh continue to bubble up. Giant fans were like, really? Jameis Winston, this is what we're going into the season. Well, have no fear. You got Russell Wilson. He is here for the new York Giants. So keep that in mind here as we'll take a look at the Capitals and the Jets here tonight, Joe, with Ovechkin. And, you know, you and I have talked about this over the last month or so. His shots on goal prop, they're automatic plays. Just keep going. They're going to give him every shot in the world that he can, especially late in games. They're going to just keep taking his shots on goal prop. I think he's plus money for an anytime goal tonight. But Winnipeg is, no pushover here. What are we thinking?
Yeah, Winnipeg not a pushover, and Connor Hellebuck really needing a bounce back in this game. Joe, you look at Hellebuck over the last two, it hasn't been pretty. He's allowed 8 goals on 37 shots in those last 2 games. So the defense is playing sound, but we're just not seeing that step up from Connor Hellebuck. And I think you see it tonight. Battle the first in the Metro versus the first in the Central. I'm looking for both of these teams really to play strong out there and for this to be that lower scoring battle. But Ovi is always in play. Now you're getting slight plus money, of course, for Ovi for the anytime goal, but I don't think it happens quick in this one. So I think a live betting opportunity will be in the works if you want to look at Ovi, especially going into that third. And especially the Capitals are up. They're going to feed him in that empty net situation. And sometimes you can get that one at plus 650 for the goal when you're late in that third period. So great way to look. Give me also the under 1.5 in the first period here, Joe.
Oh, all right. Going under in that spot as well. So as we told you, plenty of NHL here tonight. Don't worry. Tomorrow there'll be 1 game and then we'll have another 11 the following day. That's how it works in the NHL. Joe, we appreciate it as always. More game time decisions coming up next here on the Grid.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network as we look to round out this first hour together. Much more to get to. As we mentioned, 4 college basketball games, 2 in the NIT, 2 in the CBI in Daytona, getting ready to take center stage here tonight. We'll talk more about those games coming up, not to mention a great slate in the NBA, including the return of one Jimmy Butler to South Beach to take on his former team, the Miami Heat. But if you did not hear and are just joining us, we learned a little over an hour ago that Steph Curry out tonight against Miami in this spot. The market had Golden State as high as a 6-point favorite. That has come back down to around 4.5. The total has come crashing, though, down to 209.5 and even 209. So plenty of NBA action coming up that we're going to talk about. We'll get you the latest on Chattanooga and Bradley in the NIT. That's your first game up. And then North Texas, Oklahoma State at 9 o'clock Eastern time here tonight. Both Bradley and Oklahoma State home teams tonight for these NIT matchups. And both teams have distinct home court advantages all year long. Both Bradley and Oklahoma State have been tremendous in their own gyms, in front of their own fans. So Chattanooga and North Texas will have their work cut out for them. Bradley, though, a 3.5, 4-point favorite. Oklahoma State remaining a slight favorite, 1.5 against North Texas. We also have the CBI coming up. Illinois State taking on Incarnate Word. And then Florida Gulf Coast against Cleveland State will follow afterwards. That is, again, the CBI tournament in Daytona Beach, neutral site there. Both of those games, as far as I'm concerned, should consider the over, as well as the NIT games, given the fact that we have seen plenty of overs in these outside of March Madness tournaments here in college basketball. Defense optional in this extra basketball season. I would not, as slow as North Texas is, I would not be looking for an under necessarily here because nobody, these games, I think 12-6 to the over in the NIT thus far, including an over already with North Texas here, and CBI also heading the same way. None of these teams, I mean, Incarnate Word is dropping 90 points a game here, and I don't see, with Illinois State being a 38% three-point shooting team, top 20 in the country, I don't see this thing landing under anytime soon here. So I think some overs tonight and a little extra college basketball, if that tickles your fancy. We talked plenty of NHL. We also have some breaking news if you're just joining us in the NFL. As Giant fans, that sound you're hearing are Giant fans crying. That's right. Not tears of joy, but tears of pure pain, as they have just signed former champ Russell Wilson in the building, folks. Your new starting quarterback for the New York Giants. They have come to an agreement with Russell Wilson here on a one-year deal worth up to $21 million, guaranteed 10.5, but up to $21 million possible. This coming off the heels of some other exciting news that no doubt Giant fans are still trying to come to grips with. The idea that Jameis Winston was going to be their savior this year and their starting quarterback. If that wasn't bad enough and causing many Giant fans to pour a glass of something, now they're going to have to deal with the fact that Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson are going to be teamed up here to bring you a championship to MetLife Stadium. Isn't that fun, Giant? I know Giant fans. I can hear it. The celebration is on. Also, they have the number 3 draft pick in the upcoming draft. Whether or not they're going to go with Shedeur Sanders, whether or not they're going to try to move up maybe in Tennessee to try and get a quarterback. Tennessee continuing to blow smoke towards Cam Ward. I'm not buying it. And, of course, the Cleveland Browns sitting at that number 2 pick is interesting. Giants in 3. Never believe anything you hear about how much a team loves a guy during this period before the draft. We'll have more on that. Plenty of NBA. And also get ready. Major League Baseball season starting this week. It's a big final hour. Come back and join us here on Game Time Decisions.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, Giant fans ordering their Russell Wilson jerseys as we speak. Welcome back in another hour. Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by. Again, if you're just joining us, Russell Wilson strikes a deal with the New York Giants. He is projected to be their starting quarterback. Sorry, Jameis, no word on what they plan on doing with the number 3 draft pick coming up, but it's been a long week for Giants fans, I'll tell you that much. But the good news is, Giant fans, you got plenty of NBA to watch here tonight. And pretty good slate of games, although it's kind of hard to figure out who might be playing, who's not playing in a lot of these spots as the final 10 games of the regular season underway. But I can tell you there is a lot on the line for some teams looking to battle to solidify their postseason credentials here as we welcome in our good friend Adam Kaufman as we get ready to embark on a decent slate of games here tonight. All things being equal here, Adam, I understand there was a tip that came in with the Miami and Golden State game. From what I understand now, Steph Curry will not be in this game, and the market immediately ran to back that number off of 6. It's the return of Jimmy Butler. I would also caution people, don't forget, Wiggins wasn't exactly happy with the move either. He's now in Miami. He's dropping 40 points a game since coming back. So what everyone thought was going to be a slam dunk is all of a sudden now a 4-point Golden State road favorite, and call me crazy here, but I'm not great on Golden State with no Steph Curry being a road favorite against anybody, especially a team that's pretty ticked off with the player they traded to him. So I don't know. What do you do with this game coming up the bottom of the hour?
Well, look, Joe, I think we can agree when the tips are unreliable, it's
good point.
You know, it's a concern, but this is a real tip right here. This is real knowledge. Yeah. Steph Curry is not going to participate in this game, which honestly I'm a little bit surprised about. When I saw that news come across that Steph was going to miss, I was like, man, you know, to your point, as you know, 10 to 12, 13 games left in the regular season for most teams, this is a pretty important one. You know, you consider the Western Conference standings, Golden State is hanging on by a thread here for that final, what would be playoff spot, the number 6 seed, obviously, as far as avoiding the play-in tournament. They have only a 1-game lead right now on both the Clippers and the Timberwolves. So I think you're trying to get all your best players out there and win as many games as possible, obviously, so that you can avoid that extra set of games and just get yourself as much rest down the stretch before these series begin. But clearly, and Steve Kerr alluded to this recently, age, I think, is catching up a little bit. I think the mileage, the wear and tear, all those deep playoff runs, trips to the finals. Steph's just a little gassed, and he needs a maintenance night. Everyone's playing through something at this stage of the year, but you look at Golden State tonight in Miami, a team that I don't need to tell you has been falling apart in recent weeks. And this is not even a team that's as actively tanking as teams like, the Jazz or the Sixers, some of the clubs like that. Miami's just flat out bad, just can't get it together. Tyler Hero has been a shell of himself here in the last, a month or so. I mean, he's not even cracking double figures in scoring in 2 out of his last 5, I think it is. So the 4.5 point favorite, I think with no Steph, despite everything I said about Miami, I would still be inclined to take the Heat with the points, just given the fact that they are at home. I'd view this differently if obviously it was out in the Bay Area, but we just, not that Steph has missed a whole lot of games, but we haven't seen these opportunities where all of a sudden Jimmy Butler goes crazy. Now, there is the revenge narrative, obviously his old home, his old team, a team that he couldn't wait to get away from. So does he, potentially absent Steph and becoming the guy go crazy in this one? I wouldn't rule it out. You could play his overs and, take that little stroll down narrative street if you want to, but I still ultimately feel like the Heat are probably the right side here.
Yeah, especially early. The problem with the Miami Heat is that they can't close games. But they can certainly, they went on that 10-game losing streak they just broke. 80% of those games, they had the lead going into the fourth quarter and just could not hold on and relinquished it. So I certainly like them early at home with no Steph Curry. That is for sure. And now this feels like such a trap that the Orlando Magic, coming off of that beatdown of Luka and LeBron last night, it feels like Orlando offensively has finally started to figure some things out with Paolo and Franz and company there. They now got to take an hour plane ride up the coast to Charlotte. Charlotte, we all know, is tanking most days of the week. They can certainly score, but, I mean, they got what now? Back-to-back wins here, Orlando, second of a back-to-back, and people have been betting Orlando like they know what the score is. I'm seeing 5.5, but, boy, does this feel like a trap here with the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, look, and it's a back-to-back. I know the Hornets are just awful. I do like the Magic, obviously, to win the game. I don't know about cover the number. I'd be more interested in the prop market in this one, looking at overs for both Banchero and Wagner. Banchero has been, I was just looking at his game log just before the show, actually, and over his last 5 games, he has gone for 20-plus shots in virtually all of them. He is averaging that. So, again, the volume is there. He is just heaving as often as possible. And so it's leading to good scoring numbers. And he's getting to the free throw line more regularly as well. I like his points over. I would like his points rebounds. He's been more active on the boards. And Wagner's now picking up early on in games, not just getting some of those late game cashes. Joe, I have to interrupt because we have more football news that has just come across from Adam Schefter, of course, over at ESPN. Stephon Diggs, 3 years, $69 million, 26 guaranteed with my New England Patriots.
Championship's on its way. I mean, what can I say here, New England? It's on its way.
Boats.
Nothing screams camaraderie in that locker room like Stephon Diggs not getting the ball. I'm sure that's going to go swimmingly here. Well, hey, at least they signed a wide receiver.
He might not play till mid-season anyway. He might not play till mid-season coming off that ACL injury that he suffered with the Texans. But it's true. Like I know that we're running out of good quality wide receivers on the market to begin with, and that's part of why he was still available now. But still, that's a healthy payday. That is adhering to the suck tax there in New England, having to overpay for this guy coming off the injury, who probably won't even be fully himself until year 2 of this contract, assuming year 1 goes okay. But for all the mockery, and it's justified, the Patriots, Drake May in particular, who people around the league in NFL circles do think very, very highly of, and I'm sure you would agree with that. Drake May needed a competent, legitimate wide receiver. And as you said, they haven't had it. Like the top target last year was, at least in terms of wideouts, I'll put Hunter Henry aside, like Demario Douglas. Not good enough. Not if you want to actually attempt to do something, and you're not going to win the division. But if you want to be a wild card team, you had to get a guy like Diggs of that caliber, that potential explosiveness in the door.
Listen, it's the closest. That's a legit, WR1 here that the New England Patriots have not had in a very, very long time. But who knows what else will break before it's all said and done. Adam, as always, we appreciate the time here, my man. Enjoy the games tonight. Plenty of them in the NBA, and I am sure the New England Patriots are not done signing wide receivers here today. You never know what the next 10 minutes will bring. More Game Time Decisions coming up here on the Grid.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Really?
All right, Game Time Decision. It is potluck night here on Game Time Decisions. You never know what you're going to get as the news continues to break in the NFL as some pretty interesting signings, to say the least, have been breaking as we get a little bit closer to the NFL draft here. And somebody with his finger on that pulse, of course, is the one and only our good friend Craig Mish in the house. Oh, yeah, Craig, I don't know if I heard the Major League Baseball season starts in a couple days, too. But besides that, the Giants signed Russell Wilson, and now the Patriots get themselves a wide receiver, even though he can't play, and he's usually a cancer in the locker room. But Stephon Diggs is Drake May's number one target. So some interesting maneuvering happening in the NFL here so far today.
Yeah, and look, again, this is all sort of news to me. It's kind of great to get it, so you can get my instant reaction to this, because my son literally just had a baseball game that I'm just coming in from here, so I can give you my instant reaction to this. I actually thought we were doing baseball here, but that's okay. So my understanding is the Giants now have Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, so that kind of puts them out of play, I would assume, for Aaron Rodgers, but still in play to take one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. So a little bizarre, I would say, to add both of those, because my guess is, Joe, that if they do draft a quarterback, whether it is Sanders or maybe later on to get, because they're not going to get Cam Ward, so it would be Sanders or maybe Jackson Dart or maybe even Jalen Milroe. My guess would be that all three of those players, Joe, am I right, would not survive the roster at the beginning of the season. I don't think they would carry those three guys going into the year. And as far as the other signing goes that you just mentioned, I think that's a great signing for New England. That one I do like, because Stephon Diggs, one-year deal, something to prove, playing on a team that thinks they're going to be a little bit better next year. They've upgraded the offensive line in the offseason. Giants, I can never figure out what they're doing. But I do like this move for New England, and they do seem to me to want to take a next step, and I don't know how far Diggs will get them, but it's definitely better than what they had.
I agree. Listen, they haven't had a true wide receiver one in that locker room in a long time. So the fact that they invested and gave him something to be, Drake May a target, I think it's a good signing without a whole lot of downside there with the 1-year deal. All right. So the NFL, unless something else breaks, like Aaron Rodgers signs again with the Jets, we're going to move on to baseball here, Craig, because I do believe the season starts sooner. I still don't understand why they didn't utilize the whole start the season yesterday and have 3 days of unlimited baseball and attention. But Thursday, it will begin. And of course, I was talking with Donnie this morning, and for the first time in a very long time, I played the New York Yankees team win total under here. So much is dependent on this team on health, and not one of those guys do I trust to remain healthy that they're going to need this year. They feel like, at best, a 90-win team, at worst, an 82-win team, and everything is going to be riding on how many guys can they keep healthy here, but yet they seem to be everyone's favorite in the American League again.
Yeah, I think the reason why is because, Joe, it's a team that's not afraid to add players. And when you're looking at win totals, you kind of have to look at the teams and what they're going to do in July as opposed to what they're going to do right now. Because in the end, a lot of these teams are going to be 50-50 going into that mark. The Dodgers will be way above. The White Sox will be way below. We know what those two teams are going to do. And you pretty much don't know where anyone else is going to be. So you assume they're around 500 or a little bit better. And then, of course, at that point, Joe, what will the Yankees do? Are they willing at that point to add players? That's what I always look at when I'm doing season win totals. To your point, they are 1 or 2 players away from losing players to being a 500 team. So I think it's probably a smart move by you to do that. I've always thought New York numbers, Yankees in particular, are always inflated. Cody Bellinger, I know he had a home run today in Miami. We'll see what he does. That's going to be a big name. And then, Joe, the other name, and we have to just call it what it is. They didn't get barely any production at first base last year. Is Paul Goldschmidt going to be the guy that he was a couple of years ago or the guy that he was last year? I think that could determine how good their offense is this season without Stanton, clearly.
So in the American League, it certainly feels like the American League East will be the most competitive here. I know the bar is set pretty high for Baltimore to finally, win a playoff game would be great. But they're going to have to do it without Corbin Burns. They're going to need some guys to step up there, but the lineup for the most part is good. This retooled Red Sox team, are you a believer in the Red Sox? A lot of folks very high on them in this division.
They did a good job drafting and developing, and so they've got a great young infielder named Christian Campbell who's going to start the season with the team. I definitely think that he is a player to watch as the season goes on. I really liked what I saw from a lot of their young players last year. Another one is Ceddanne Rafaela, who I think has another gear in his game. And they ended up getting Garrett Crochet. So, I can understand why there's a lot of optimism. It's just a really young team, and we'll see how quickly it comes together. But I did like the offseason acquisitions they made to go with the young players. If Walker Buehler is the Buehler of the postseason, that's an absolute steal. If he's not, it's not a good 1-year deal. But I just think you got to give a lot of credit to that team for drafting and developing those players. Very specifically, Joe, I do want to mention, because I know we're going to talk about this, is we should take another look at that career that Chaim Bloom had in Boston, because I know that he got a lot of crap for being there and not doing a good job. I got to tell you, I mean, every single one of these young guys that he drafted are going to be ended up playing in the big leagues this year. So I think that's a good reason why St. Louis, grabbed him to run the team next year.
For the life of me, Craig, I can't figure out what they're doing in Toronto with the Blue Jays. Now you've got Vlad with one going to be a free agent at the end of the year. They couldn't come to an agreement. It feels like they're stuck in they don't know what to do. Or do they blow it up? Do they not? Like, what is going on with Toronto?
Yeah, so then you hit it on the head. That's my second favorite under of the season, are the Toronto Blue Jays, because that's a team that if they are teetering around 500 or below, it's time to move the players and go in a different direction. I would be very concerned for Blue Jays fans going into the season. I think they're about a 500 team, maybe lower, but they could trade Vlad and a lot of other players that would make them look very meek in that second half.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you don't want a disgruntled Vlad Guerrero hanging around there. It's kind of crazy. But the American League East certainly is going to be interesting. And I believe the American League West is going to be even more interesting. We'll talk more about it with Craig Mish as Major League Baseball just around the corner.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Good news, no more NFL breaking news, which allows us more time to concentrate on what is coming up, which is Major League Baseball season opening day, a couple of days away. Who better to talk about the state of the MLB than our good friend Craig Mish here, as we broke down the American League East. But I think the West is fascinating because I know a lot of folks are expecting a big turnaround from the Texas Rangers here. And from a run scoring, there should be no reason Texas can't outscore everybody. in this division here. But Houston maybe taking a step back. The Angels or the who else is going to compete with the Rangers, right?
Yeah, Seattle, Joe, didn't really do enough, I think, to get over the top. And one of their top pitchers, George Kirby's going to miss some time. Mm-hmm. The Angels are not going to be competitive. I know they keep throwing money at people, Joe. Kenley Jansen. I don't understand what they're trying to do. But, they throw money at guys. At least we could give them credit for that. So then it comes down to, Texas and Houston. And one of these years, Joe, I would think that the Astros would not have just a bad first half, but a bad first half and second half. They ended up turning it around last year and being competitive in the second half. I think the Rangers are not as good as they were 2 years ago, but probably not as bad as they were last year. But going back to Houston for a minute, the thing is that they never seem to run out of these prospects. And so they trade Kyle Tucker. And all the Astros fans are like, oh, we're not going to be able to replace this guy. Oh, my gosh, he was a superstar. And he is, and he goes to the Cubs. But they get this kid, Cam Smith, who looks like an absolute star, who the Cubs drafted last year. In that trade, he's going to make the opening day roster, probably bat fifth on opening day. So the Astros just continue to roll and do things right. I'm not going to pick against them going into the season, but I do think it'll be Texas and Houston battling it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year, Greg, Rangers had the oldest starting pitching staff in baseball there. I mean, average guy, I think, was about 30. I don't think they got any younger, though. I mean, it doesn't seem like they got any younger, but, they're going to have an opportunity in that division where I don't think they're going to get a lot of pushback from the Angels and others there, and the Sacramento Athletics, by the way. What about the Central? Am I wrong in thinking, listen, I think the Guardians are good, but they're not going to have Bieber again. Can they match that output from the bullpen? Can it carry this team if it needs to again? What about the Guardians in the Central?
Yeah, you said most competitive division. I think this is the most competitive division in baseball because I can't pick a winner between Minnesota, Kansas City, Detroit. I mean, I think Cleveland, I think every team is going to be in this to the end. Something tells me that maybe the Tigers are ready to take that next step. It did feel close last year, and then they added some players in the offseason too. So I do lean toward them a little bit. I don't know if they have enough offense to win a World Series right now or to win even an American League pennant, but the Twins didn't really do all that much. Kansas City is formidable without a doubt, but Cleveland's right there too. Toss-up division for me, Joe. I could see any of them finishing first and any of them finishing last.
So let me ask you about the National League Central, because the Cardinals, one of the greatest baseball towns you'll ever see, but it feels like they're at a crossroads here. I don't know how they stayed above 500. They haven't had, I think, a losing season since 2000. So but it feels like this is kind of, where do we go here from the Cardinals? How convinced are you they can improve on that 83-79 record a year ago?
Yeah, and I hate to say it because they've got some of the best fans in the country. It's honestly one of my favorite baseball cities and my favorite baseball team, and I get to see them play in Jupiter and did get to see them play in Jupiter this year. Unfortunately, this is one of my favorite unders of the season, if not my favorite, Joe. They have a general manager who could potentially be a Hall of Famer in John Mozeliak, who's not even making the decisions this year, waiting for Chaim Bloom to take over. Joe, none of those players on the team are Chaim Blooms. What is going to happen if this team does not get off to a good start? They're all going to be gone. And by the way, this is not even an uber talented team. They didn't do anything in the offseason. I think the Cardinals are going to finish last in the National League Central. I think they're going to win 70-something games, maybe even on the low end. And in a few years, Chaim Bloom's going to take this team, turn it around, and make them great. But this is not going to be their season. I am not high on St. Louis this year.
And it's a shame because, again, I haven't had a losing season since 2000. This is an organization that restocks, retools, and has done it right. But I think that line in the sand is drawn. Craig, looking forward to more baseball talk with you. Enjoy it. Game Time Decisions returns after this.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri, and we're off and running here on a slate of games tonight as we get ready for the Sweet 16 beginning on Thursday. Just some great matchups coming your way. Been a very chalky March Madness thus far as favorites continue to win games. This is the first time, I believe, since forever in which we haven't had an 11 seed or higher win a game thus far in the March Madness brackets. And it just goes to show you that I think it's going to continue to get extremely top heavy as we move forward here. I try to usually, when we get to the Sweet 16, what I like to do is kind of restack the teams, if you will, with the 16 teams that remain, kind of reseed them to see if there's anybody maybe we didn't take into consideration to start with that maybe was underseeded or undervalued. And usually, again, it's such an anomaly that we got this year and we don't have an 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to sit. We don't have any big Cinderella underdog, and I don't consider Arkansas as a 10 seed to be an underdog in any way, shape, or form, given who their coach is, the quality of the players they have, and, oh, yeah, they played in the toughest conference in the country in the SEC. So this is a very top-heavy tournament, and the top four teams, for me, remain to be the top four teams in the brackets here. It's going to be Duke. It's going to be Houston. It's going to be Florida, and it's going to be Auburn. I think Duke is interesting because people are betting Duke like they already know they should just etch the trophy in their name. I do think their road to a national championship isn't going to be as easy as everyone thinks. Now, I think they'll get by this week, no problem. I don't foresee there being any sort of issue with them getting by in their next game, which I believe is coming up on Thursday against Arizona. They are the 9:40 time in the East Regional. That'll be the late game. BYU, Alabama will be the early game. I mean, listen, Arizona historically, and this year especially with Coach Lloyd there, they are not good against the better competition. They fade against the better competition, but they beat up on the weaker competition, which I think gives people a false narrative around Arizona. I think Duke's biggest battle is going to come in the way of Alabama, because if you're going to beat Duke, you're going to have to outshoot them. You are going to have enough firepower in order to drop 90 points on this Duke and the defense. Duke, very good defensively, but you need to have the scoring punch in order to go toe-to-toe with Duke. And I think Alabama in the Eastern Regionals there is the one team that could catch them before they move on. As far as the Auburn Tigers, would anybody be shocked if Michigan wins this game? Michigan probably will win it by 2 or 3 points or 4 points, because that's what they do. That's all they've done this year. They have played with fire, but they know how to win games. And that means something this time of year, where as opposed to Duke, who has not been pushed, has not been trailing, has not had to come from behind in the final 6 or 7 minutes of a second half in the tournament, where you got to see what they're made of. Florida did against the two-time defending champion UConn Huskies there. I think Florida proved its mettle there with the opportunity. You knew UConn was not going to fade. The two-time defending champions, a lot of pride, a lot of talent, great coach. They were not going to roll over. And Florida got tested. And they got more tested than just about anybody else, certainly more than Duke has. And what did we see? Well, we saw a team down the stretch that goes on a 14-4 scoring run to eventually pull away and win that game against the champs, right? You're the champs until somebody beats you. Well, Florida beat them, and now Florida is sitting, I think, in a pretty good spot against Maryland coming up. And listen, Maryland, congratulations on the travel/walk game-winning bank bucket against Colorado State, but you were outplayed in that game mightily. You were outplayed. You were outcoached, and you were outplayed in that game. So congratulations, you advanced. But I do think it is over for Coach Willard and for the Maryland Terrapins here. I think Florida handles business there. And then it's going to be a matter of Texas Tech and Arkansas for the University of Florida. Can they get past Arkansas? Sure they can. They know Arkansas. From the same SEC conference, they know them. Texas Tech, I would love to see them have McMillan available to them in for the rest of the games, but I'm weary of a team that is going to chuck up 43 threes in a game in the tournament, and that works when you're taking on lesser competition. I just don't think Texas Tech – I think Texas Tech might get caught by Arkansas here. Call me crazy, but I think Coach Cal and Arkansas might very well, with that length, athleticism, they might very well catch Texas Tech in this round coming up. But I do still think it's Florida's Western Regional to lose. I've got Florida right now advancing, and it would not shock me if Michigan State is the winner coming out of the South. As much as I love Auburn, and listen, they're laying 8.5. I don't think it's a great matchup for Johnny Broome and for Auburn in this spot. It would not shock me if Michigan, wins a tight one, because that's all they've done. When you win that many games decided by 3 points in a season, you ultimately, short of being down 20 points in the final 2 minutes, you believe you can win the game. And that means a lot this time of year, not to mention Auburn in a couple of games so far in this tournament had to fight back in the second half. They got off to slow starts, dug themselves a hole early, and it's okay if you're playing Alabama State. But that's not going to be okay if you're playing Michigan. Too well coached. They have the bigs to go toe-to-toe with Johnny Broome and of course, the other bigs and the athletes they have on Auburn. Michigan is dangerous, but ultimately I think Michigan State, when you can roll 10 guys out like Michigan State and Izzo can in a tournament where if your first 5 aren't getting it done, the next 5 guys you have off the bench can, that makes Michigan State very, very dangerous. Even though they haven't shot the 3 great this year, the fact that your number one player there, Michigan State, didn't have a point until about the final 3 minutes of that game, but the guys off the bench carried them offensively. that Jace Richardson couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But you know what? Didn't matter. They had guys off the bench that came in and covered them. Multiple double-digit scorers off the bench for Michigan State. This is one of the deepest teams that we have seen. And Izzo, yeah, I love Chris Beard, but he's not going to get out-coached in this spot. And I think Chris Beard's team, if they're going to go out and shoot like they did last game, which let's be realistic here, there wasn't a shot they didn't hit Ole Miss in that last game. They have been on fire. That is going to regress, especially against a Michigan State defense that, come on, let's face it here. Michigan State defensively is not going to get into a track meet here with Ole Miss. At some point, the shooting is going to regress for Ole Miss, and especially against one of the better defenses here in Michigan State. So I wouldn't be shocked if we get a Michigan State South Regional semifinal. And if we're looking in the Midwest region, Houston, Purdue, defense versus offense. Tennessee versus Kentucky, defense versus offense. Who wins out? I think defense wins out in both of those games, but ultimately I think Houston just too good. I think this could be the year for Houston to contend for a national championship. We'll have much more on it and an update in the NBA as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Quick look at the NBA scoreboard. They're off and running in Miami here. The return of Jimmy Butler for the Golden State Warriors in Miami. Miami out in front, quick 9-2 lead there. Orlando was blowing out Charlotte, but in typical Orlando fashion, it's now a 1-point game there. Also, Detroit all over San Antonio right now, 37-25. Plenty more basketball coming up, including Atlanta and Houston, which I think is fascinating. Quietly, Houston is the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, but don't look now. Atlanta has finally figured some things out here and looking to win their 8th out of their last 9 games tonight in Houston, getting 8.5 points. But we had mentioned earlier, it is not only the Sweet 16 coming up here and the March Madness quest to crown a national champion. Opening day, 48 hours away. And Dave Sharapan, who did the tour. Dave, I haven't had a chance to talk to you since you went spring training shopping there, bouncing around here, a bunch of different parks, looking at a bunch of different teams. How was it, first and foremost, and who were you impressed with, if anybody, with what you saw?
Joe, it's great to see you. I did not make it down to Miami. I was over in Melbourne, though.
Nice.
And wanted to see a couple teams over there. But, yeah, I was following my daughters around the state. I drove almost 1,100 miles in 7 days in the state of Florida.
Whew.
I don't know how you do it every day. There was a lot of times I was questioning a lot of things that I was doing, especially around that Orlando area, that I-4. Changed my life for a little bit. That was interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, that was interesting. I unfortunately only got to see Pirates Orioles twice. It was so good the first time. It was the second time when I came back to the west side of the state. That was the game. And I can't even remember what the other game was because I didn't stay very long. Because it was Minnesota and Boston.
The Red Sox? Well, Red Sox over in Fort Myers.
Yep. So that was good. Like the Red Sox are the team. I think that's the buzz in the community.
That's what everyone's saying.
Talking about the Red Sox, about being an overseason wins, challenging to win the AL East. I think it's a realistic possibility with the pitching that they have now, both in the starting rotation and the relief staff. So we'll see. Aroldis Chapman is still the closer though. For now, I don't know how long he's going to be the closer. We'll see. But yeah, it was great. There's a lot of things I think you can make snap judgments from. When you see teams, seeing the Pirates a couple times and seeing the Orioles a couple times, I thought both season wins under. More so for the Orioles because of this pitching. I think the rest of their pitching staff after Eflin is going to be tough for them in the AL East. So under 88.5 or 89 wins. Pirates under because of the lineup. I ain't worried about the Pirates pitching. I mean, especially with Skeens. He's going to be great. But,
is
that was it.
Back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's hitting right at the top of the order, DHing more days than he's not. I mean, they're not going to really steal a lot of bases with him hitting up top. So,
no.
I don't know. It's one of those situations where I think the National League Central is open to kind of be had. There's not a person on planet Earth that has said that Cincinnati's going to win less than their season win games are.
Yep.
That's the buzz around town here in Vegas. Cincy to win the National League Central. I think it's really between the Brewers and I think them more than the Cubs. I still don't buy into the Cubs. I'm not doing it. I can't do it.
Yeah, we had Craig Mish on earlier, and one of his favorite under win totals is the Cardinals. And it's kind of hard to believe, Dave, because the Cardinals as an organization have not had a losing season since the year 2000. But a lot of bad contracts over the last couple of years has kind of put this team behind the 8 ball here. And you don't think they're going to win 70 games. And I got to tend to agree with him here that I think the Cubs will be better. The Reds will be better. The Pirates will be better. The Brewers, I think we're looking at, and it's hard to say because this is a quality organization. They're the last place team in that division, are they not?
I didn't even mention them when I was talking about the NL Central for a reason because I didn't want to seem like a homer and say the Pirates are going to have more wins than the Cardinals, but the Pirates are going to have more wins than the Cardinals. I don't know who needs to hear it. You're absolutely right. It's crazy how it can change the dynamics so quickly right now with the baseball, and a team like the Cardinals at the bottom of the division with the season wins, at the bottom of the division with the season odds to win the division. I can't remember the last time that happened. I mean, it's been a long, long time since the Cardinals going into a season were going to be a below 500 team, let alone last place in the division. So agree with you, agree with Mish. I don't know. We're all trying to solve the puzzle that is the American League Central. I really, really think that the Tigers are going to win that division. And I think the Twins are going to be right there, hovering around 500, a little bit better, maybe. Cleveland's a team that looks like it's going to take a step back, and Cleveland has been great for a long time, too. I just don't know how they're going to do it again. And obviously, the Royals are on the come up. I like them to be right there with the Twins and maybe challenge the Tigers for the division. The White Sox on their season wins, they are going to be bad again.
Yeah, no, they're just awful on so many levels there. But it's going to be interesting with the Royals because that was a team that won, 20, 25 games over what their anticipated total was a year. So they overachieved last year. Yeah. I love Bobby Witt Jr., MVP candidate, but expecting that pitching staff once again to do what they did. I mean, Waka and Seth Lugo carried that team with Cole Reagan last year. That bullpen wasn't very good until the end. I think it could be fade. It might be a little step back, and I agree with you on the Guardians. I think it's time for them maybe to take a step back, and Detroit and Minnesota are battling till the end. We'll get a couple of more of Dave's thoughts here, especially on the ice when Game Time Decisions continues.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network as we look to close out this edition. Don't go anywhere, though. We've got In-Game Live coming up at the top of the hour. Dave Sharapan will be there, and, of course, plenty going on tonight in the NBA. Huge slate on the ice tonight, Dave. 11 games because the NHL just can't decide, is it one game or is it 11 games? But that's how they roll here. And what are you thinking? A lot of $3 favorites on the card here tonight. Was there any games you circled?
Boy, oh boy. I'm wearing the Montreal Expo stuff, not because The Expo stuff always wins. But I like the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Game's coming up against the Blues here, getting ready to drop the puck. Plus money. This is a playoff game, essentially. A lot of the games now are either going to be minus $3 or they're going to be close to pick'ems because you got two teams playing for something or one good team playing one bad team, and you got to make the line $3 or more to try to get a bet on the dog. So, yeah, when you go through the rest of the slate, I mean, the Jets and the Capitals is a really interesting game as well. I'm shading towards the Capitals as well, so maybe the red, white, and blue theme will work. The Avalanche are going to beat the Red Wings later. And the Kings have been a monster at home all season, and it's a shorter price than it probably should be. I think the Kings in regulation against the Rangers to just, maybe get it to even money or plus money. But that's the hockey look. The NBA is a mess tonight, Joe, and everybody's on the Warriors and against the Heat and, the Jimmy return trip. Grizzlies against the Jazz later. We'll be talking about that, me and Wetzel. OKC can't lose. They never lose, it seems like. I don't know if they're going to cover tonight against the Kings. I thought the Kings might be live last night until that guy put his foot under Tatum and
that was the end of that.
And they got mad. They got mad and said, "You know what? You can't do that." And I think you got to look for a reason to take Portland late as well, sidewise.
They're an ATM.
Probably over. Yeah, they really are. The Trailblazers. I mean, you're not even exaggerating when you say they're an ATM.
Yep. Especially at home because they're always getting points, and they're really starting to come into their own, Portland. And Cleveland is already, everything from Cleveland has been about, we're just trying to stay healthy for the playoffs. So they're telling you there is not going to be any extra effort from Cleveland. No Donovan Mitchell here tonight. And I still think I'm seeing 6.5 and 7s on that. Real quick, before we get you out of here, Russell Wilson to the Giants. I don't know if you've heard. Are you getting that Russell Wilson Giant jersey yet?
No, I'm definitely not. But what that means is you take Russell Wilson off the board for Pittsburgh. So now you got Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston as the quarterbacks for the Giants, which I texted all my Giant fan friends and said, season wins under. That's fantastic. All right. I don't even know what the number is yet. I'd make it 5 and say, come on, try to bet us over because that's going to be a complete mess. But there's another day that goes by, and I've been coming on with Walsh the days he's working too and saying, have the Steelers signed a quarterback yet? The answer is no. But now we take another guy off the list. So I guess the Aaron Rodgers era is more likely to start in Pittsburgh. Yep. I mean, I know it's coming. I see it coming. I don't think I like it. But again, I said last year when they had Russ and Fields, and I said, listen, maybe they'll figure it out. They figured it out enough to just not be good, but not be bad, and go over the season win total, but not be a threat in the playoffs. I think that's exactly what's going to happen again.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, the good news is, Dave,
I don't think
they need to go with experience. They need to go with experience. Look for a guy that's got a ring, somebody like Kenny Pickett. See if he's available to come. That's right. You already had him. So you're not going to want him anymore either. So what could have been, Dave? What could have been for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Maybe Roethlisberger is available to come out of retirement here. All right, listen, Scotty Wetzel is warming up there. He wants to know where his bullpen catcher is. So get out of here, Sharapan. Enjoy, brother. We'll see you in a couple of minutes for In-Game Live. And, of course, looking forward to Major League Baseball getting ready here in 48 hours. Can you believe it? Opening day just around the corner. In the meantime, a quick look at some of these scoreboards. And, boy, Miami up 19-14 there in the first quarter over Golden State. Orlando 53-48 over Charlotte. 50-31 Detroit all over San Antonio. And the Knicks are losing to the Dallas Mavericks, 33-31, still in the first quarter. We appreciate it, as always. In-game lives coming up, Game Time Decisions. We'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy.